Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Unconventional Attorney Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and I am the Unconventional Attorney. Today, I'm excited to bring you another Attorney X episode. If you are unfamiliar with this, I am basically interviewing anonymously law firm owners from around the globe to find out what's working for them, the kind of revenue that they're really making, the kind of challenges that they're really facing, and uncovering all of the things that they are afraid to expose out there in the real world under their own names. Now, the only way that I can continue to have these interviews is for law firm owners just like you to come on the show. We all get to learn from the information and the experiences we share, and this is my call to action for you to come and join me as an Attorney X guest. It's very simple. It's 20 minutes. And if you come on, I give you a free t-shirt that you can't get anywhere else. So if you walk around and you see people wearing Attorney X t-shirts, it's because they have taken the plunge and they are Attorney X alumni. To sign up is very simple. All you have to do is go to theunconventionalattorney.com/Attorney X. You can pick a date and time that work for you, and when that date and time come, we'll chat. Okay, so that's theunconventionalattorney.com/Attorney X. Go and schedule your date today so we can keep up this really cool deal that we've got going on. All right, now let's get into the show. Hello, friends, and welcome to another Attorney X interview. Today, as you can probably guess, I've got Attorney X. Welcome to the show. That's you. You're supposed to say hello.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, this one's ruined already.
I didn't know you wanted me to talk.
Yep, I did. It's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead.
As a reminder to you and the audience, I ask the same questions to every guest on every show and promise anonymity so we can get the raw truth about your law firm. The goal is for all of us to learn from each other by sharing what's really happening inside our firms. You up for that?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Let's get going. Question number one. How old are you?
I am 54 years old.
And are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have kids?
I have 3 adult children and 3.5 grandchildren.
Okay. How old are your kids?
My children are 31, 29, and 26.
Okay, nice. How long have you been practicing law?
Since 2003.
Okay. And how did you always know you wanted to be a lawyer? Like, what's your even law school story?
I knew I wanted to be a lawyer when I was 11 years old. I had an English teacher who was doing a presentation in front of the class and asked what a pencil was. And I happened to answer that the pencil was not just a writing tool, but it was a tree and the essence of where the pencil came from. And he said to me, that is how attorneys think. And from that very same day, I wanted to be an attorney.
Nice. All right. And then, okay. And what do you, that's great. That's a good story.
That's the story that I wrote for my law firm interview. For my law firm essay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's funny is I know who you are. And I think you may have told me this story before, but every time I do these, I always hear these stories and they're always like, everybody's always got something interesting to say. And it always like catches me off guard because I'm just not ready for it, but that's great. That's a cool story. All right. So to get back on track, what, did you always know that you wanted to start a law firm, or like what's that story like? Where'd that go? How'd you get there?
I knew when I went to law school that I did not want to be a litigator. I don't like the aspect of litigating. I never thought I wanted to have my own firm. As well, while I was going to law school, I had my own business. I had a financial planning business. And I was to the point where I was kind of burned out of having my own business, and I wanted it out of that. And so I stopped that business. I got a divorce, basically. My husband continued it, and I went my own way. And I practiced law 2 years after that, and then I decided that I wanted to start my own firm. I don't know why or where it came from. It just, one day I just said, you know what? I can do this better. I can run it better. I want to do my own thing.
Okay, so did you do that right out of law school?
No, 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 no. Let's see. I got out of law school in 2003, so I started practicing. Well, actually, yeah, I think so. A friend of mine who I went to law school, we decided to do our own thing, but we didn't start a business like a law firm. We just
Mhm.
started practicing and doing family law cases for friends and referrals. So it wasn't like a legitimate law firm. Okay, we just started doing that. Then I started working heavier on my business with my husband. I was raising my 3 kids, so I kind of didn't pursue that. We just kind of let it go, and I just kind of faded off. And then after the divorce with my husband, I worked for 2 law firms, and that's when I decided that I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't like the hopping from law firm to law firm aspect. I didn't like the cesspool of being in the same I don't know what you call it. Just everybody goes to the same, when you practice the same practice area, everybody's hopping from one firm to the other firm. I didn't like that. I didn't
Yeah.
want to do that. And I felt like I had more control if I started my own firm.
Okay, did you and what do you do now? What kind of practice? What kind of law?
So I do family law primarily with a little bit of bankruptcy, Chapter 7 only, and some foreclosure defense.
Okay, did you know, so even starting family law at the beginning, still doing family law now, is that something that you picked on purpose? Like what's that story?
No, I started the business thinking I would do because I was working for a creditor firm for a while, and I was a mediator. I would mediate for and to try to foreclose on homes because I was working and representing all the major banks. So I thought, this is my niche. This is my specialty. I was really good at it. I got to know a lot of people in the community, and people respected and liked me. And so I thought, this would be great. I'll go work, I'll start my own law firm, but I'll work for the borrowers, the homeowners instead, since I have the information from the banks now. And so that's what I started, and I thought that's how it was going to be. But ultimately, family law just found me. I had people who came to me asking for questions about how they can get divorced, what they can do with their children. And so it just found me. It just ended up being the way that it went. It was not my intention.
Okay, cool. And you may have already said this, but what year did you officially open your firm?
I opened the firm in 2014.
2014?
14, yes.
Okay. And when you started up, what kind of, if any, sort of like cash did you bring to the table? Did you start with like any seed money? Like how, like, what was that? What was
I
that
started
like?
with, I had money saved, and so I basically started the firm with about 25, 20 to $25,000. And that included just getting desks, computers, phone lines, internet setup, just very basic stuff. And I started the firm with a partner, and but I brought in all the cash. I started everything. I did everything. She was still working for a firm when I set everything up. And then we started it in a executive suite, and we shared one office and used the conference room that was shared by everybody in the executive suite. Our rent was $500 a month. It was pretty low expenses. Um, we started right away doing commercials as marketing
Like
and some
TV, like
bill,
TV commercials?
yeah, TV commercials and some billboards.
Interesting. Was that effective for you?
Yes, it was, and the billboards were more effective in giving me credibility with the community. As I said, I was a mediating attorney, so I knew a lot of attorneys and judges in town before I started the firm. But when they saw the billboards and that I started my firm, I got a lot of comments from the attorneys and the judges saying, wow, I see you firm, I see you everywhere. And basically it was just 2 billboards and they would rotate. But it appeared that I was all over because I
Right.
had them rotating. I only had a little bit of money, so I had to stretch it.
Right.
So that the billboards were really good for credibility in the community. That was awesome. And then I did get a lot of people saying, I pulled over to the side of the road because I wanted to get your number. I liked your billboard. You look good. You were females. I'm looking for that. So I did get more return on the billboards than I was told that I would get.
That's interesting.
And as far as the commercials, I did as well. We had the commercials set for a certain amount of times in the mornings, every 3 days a week. And I would get people to say, yeah, I saw your commercials and I'm calling you because of your commercials. So I did get some results from that. And it was a good startup for me.
Do you remember what you paid for those?
Yes, it wasn't as much as you would think. My static billboards were $1,000 a month. My revolving digital billboards were $500. So I paid, I think I did 2 digital and 1 static. And the static one was the one that moved all throughout town.
Interesting. Yeah, that's funny. I won't reveal your location, but you are in a heavily billboarded area, you know? And
Yes, I am. And at first I was kind of cautious about the billboard because most of the billboards are for personal injury attorneys. And I thought,
yeah,
what kind of a message am I going to send if I am doing a billboard for family law? So I was a little bit hesitant about that, but I thought, well, what the heck, let me try it. And it was good for me. It worked out for me pretty well.
yeah. Typically one of the things to consider is, if people are doing it, it must be working in some way, It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
people are always angry that like Google ads are so expensive, but the reason they're so expensive is because they work. Like you get
exactly.
clients from them. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about you. Okay, cool. And then okay, so and then I want to talk about like from not when you started at the very beginning out of law school, but when you opened your firm. Do you remember like how you got your first client, where your first client came from?
Um, I can't say that I remember where my first client came from. I did have a lot of referrals in the beginning from um, clients that I had represented while I was doing the foreclosure defense or the foreclosures for the banks. Um, I had some attorneys give me some referrals also. And then I would say that the other ones came from the billboards and the commercials.
Yeah. Did um did you so when you opened your firm, did you go from that the creditor stuff straight to family law?
No, no, no. I did whatever came in, and so I started doing the creditor. I mean, the foreclosure defense. Um, I did that at first, and then, interestingly enough, I had a referral for immigration, and so I started teaching myself and doing immigration, and then I had quite a bit of clients that came to me for immigration. And then the family law started trickling in and that took over.
Got it. And that family law, is that what you just like the best? Like how'd you settle on doing that if you had these other
I
options?
think I like family law better because it's something I can relate to, being a mother, having kids. I feel a bond with the people that come in, and so I'm able to relate to them. I've been through a divorce. I can relate to that. So I have a more of a personal approach when I deal with my people, with my clients. So I think that it was just something that, like I said, I wasn't planning on going that route. I heard a lot of nightmares about divorce um, attorneys and how they hate their job and how you can't, you get burned out and you can't leave it at the office. You take it home. And for the most part, that's true. So I try to find I try to find
That's
a
awesome.
balance. I try to find a balance. And I think I've been fairly successful at that, at finding that balance, but it does consume you. And I do enjoy it because I feel good when I'm able to resolve a situation for people, especially in family law, which is so emotionally challenging for people. My clients leave and they say, thank you so much. I feel good. I feel much better than I did when I came in. And that's so rewarding for me.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you to sort of switch gears a little bit, do you work from home or do you have like a regular office?
No, I do. I did grow into a bigger office. So we had the executive suite with one room that we both shared, my partner and I.
Yep.
Then we moved upstairs in the executive suites and we had two different offices side by side. And then about 3 years ago, we moved into a about 1,700 square foot office.
Okay, awesome. And do you have other people that work in your firm?
I do have one receptionist slash assistant. Yes.
All right, so the three of you.
Just three of us.
Yep. When did you make that your first hire?
Um, I had originally when I moved into the big office that I am now, I had my niece. I brought my niece in to help me answer phones. I did pay her. She was part-time. Um, and because my clientele developed into more of a bilingual Spanish-speaking clientele, she did not speak Spanish. I needed to hire a bilingual Spanish-speaking receptionist. So I hired her about um, a year and a half ago.
Okay. Yep. Any tips? Any tips on hiring?
I'm not the best to give tips on hiring. I got to tell you, I go by my gut feeling. I am very passionate about going by what I feel, what feels right for me. So I interviewed, and in the course of discussing and just interviewing and just conversation, I will just let you know that I picked based on what I felt in my gut. This is a good person. Can she do the job? Do I feel like she would fit in? Can she assimilate to my culture, the way that I want to do things? And that's how I went. I don't generally go by, let me see a writing sample. Let me see your experience. As it was, she had no legal experience whatsoever. But she has been really, really a great asset to me.
Nice. Cool. What do you bill by the hour or do you bill flat fee?
I do most of my billing flat fee. I tell you that I would flat fee is nice because you don't have to kill yourself trying to figure out what you've done for the day. But at the same time, I find that flat fee has a negative aspect of it as well because I end up not billing as much as I do for the work that I do. So I end up losing money when I do a flat fee, but I still think I would take that over the billing, hourly billing.
Why is that?
I've done hourly billing and it's very stressful. It's hard to bill an 8-hour day. Every time that you do something, you have to dock your time. And I just think it takes time to dock the time. And then at the end of the day, you have to come up with trying to make sure that you build everything that you did. And I think is more time consuming than it is worth it.
Yeah. All right. What, okay. So now sort of like kind of switching gears. What'd you make in 2018? What was your 2018 gross revenue?
2018, we made 235, I think. So we're still babies.
Yep. Still early. What do you, but that's not bad. What do you projected in 2019?
I think for this year, we're a little bit higher. I think we're going to hit maybe 250 this year.
Yep.
Still not anywhere where I like to be, but at least we see growth.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's what's funny. I talk about this all the time, but we're so like mesmerized by these headlines about businesses growing so quickly and like acquiring all these customers and all this stuff. But, it's important to remember that when you're doing like a service-based business and not a software or some sort of a thing like that, growth is going to often just be sort of slow and steady over time,
Yes.
And that's doesn't make it any easier or more fun because you want to grow quickly, but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
You're right. And I think as long as you see gradual growth, it's a saving grace, right? You
Yep.
do want to have more consistently, more clients consistently, you can count on, and then you want to see growth every month. And especially this time of year for us is a slow time of year with Christmas, the season. Nobody wants to get divorced during this time. So we have a slow period this time of year. So I always go back to, we are growing year by year. So don't freak out if the phones aren't ringing off the hook this time of year. So just relax.
Yep. Do you, where do most of your clients come from?
Most of my clients are coming now from my social media, my videos that I do, my the podcast, the videos, the Instagram, LinkedIn. That's where my clients come from. They Google Ads as well. I have a campaign for Google Ads, so they come from there. There's no other marketing that I am doing right now. I took down the billboards and I stopped doing the commercials because I found that this social marketing that I'm doing now is a higher rate of return than what I was getting for the other two.
Yep. What does that look like for you when you talk about that? Like, what are you doing on a weekly or monthly basis for that stuff?
What I do is 3 days a week, I will do a video based on a topic in family law, whatever topic I find to be prevalent, or I look at what's trending. You know, I have a VA that helps me with that too. So what kind of questions are being asked? And so I do a video on that. And then after I do the video, then that video gets dispersed to all the other social medias, just like you've taught. So we've done the Facebook, it goes to the Facebook. From the Facebook, it goes to the YouTube channel, the podcast. It goes to LinkedIn, Instagram. In addition to that, I also have a newsletter that goes out once a month to all the clients and prospective clients that come in for consultations. I take their emails and I send them a monthly newsletter as well.
Yep. What's your, I'm sure you know, what do you spend per month like on Google Ads? Do you know?
I just upped my budget actually because I found that it was working.
Yep.
And so I decided to up the budget. So right now I'm spending $1,500 a month on Google Ads.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm thinking at the beginning of the year, I'm going to probably up it again. I just started it like 2 months ago, and I wanted to see how adding that extra, what difference it would make, and it's made a tremendous difference. So I'm definitely going to see how I can do that and add more to it in the beginning of the year.
Yep. And by the way, I'm building out a new Google Ads training that you can give to your VA for some of the content that you're creating as well.
Perfect. Great.
Super cheap Google clicks. So that's cool. What was I going to say? What's your biggest challenge right now?
The biggest challenge is inconsistency and growth, you know. Inconsistency internally with my my partner and with my assistant in utilizing the processes that I am implementing. It's just a little bit of a learning curve, and it's uncomfortable for people to do new things. So I'm constantly on top of everybody doing the same thing over and over again. And also just growth. I mean, I'm trying to grow month by month, and I see that I'm still in that same routine. I'm not getting more clients. So that's my challenge right now.
Yep. I just talked about this, right? The importance of, it's and remembering the difference between targets, which you really don't have any control over, which would be growth month over month, and goals, which are doing the things consistently that will create that growth and should allow you to hit those targets over time. One of the things I know I was going to ask you before I asked you this question, because it's funny, is tell me how much you love making these videos every week.
I hate these videos. I have never been a fan of making these videos. As you recall, the very first time you made me do a video, we were unprepared. You threw it at us. We were all shaken, and I had to have a couple glasses of wine to get my first one out. So that
I remember that.
Now I don't have to drink before doing them now, and I don't have to do retakes anymore. I just do them as they come. But I still am nervous. I still don't like them, but I do what I have to do to make it work.
Yep, I like it. That's funny. Okay, so I know, so I sort of been jumping around now, but you just talked about sort of the challenges that you have. what are you doing to sort of overcome those challenges? Do you have what's this sort of rolls into that the question of like, what are your goals? Like, what's coming up? What are you working on? Like, how are you going to overcome those challenges that you just talked about?
Well, the first thing I'm doing, which I have been working on, but not as quickly as I would like to, is putting everything, all the processes in a written form in a binder, so that there is no hiccups as to who needs to do what and when and how it's done. The second thing I'm doing is I'm putting an ad out for a part-time attorney who has experience in family law for 3 to 5 years experience. I want somebody in here that knows more than I. I want somebody in here that can run the office, the clients, and run the processes, and can come in here and know what they're doing and get everybody on board, so that I can step back and spend more of my time doing the marketing and doing the networking that I need to do to make the firm grow, so that I can then get more clients. So my challenge is that I'm running the firm, trying to do the marketing, trying to do the billing, trying to do everything, and as you know, at the same time as I'm trying to prepare motions and prepare cases for trial, it doesn't give me the necessary time that I need to spend just on growing the business. So that's my goal. But then it's a catch-22 when you're at this stage in your firm where there's not a lot of capital.
Yep.
So you're trying to build capital, but at the same time, you need someone to come in so that you can build the capital. So it's a catch-22. There's where I am right now. That's the challenge that I'm facing right now.
Yep. I know that challenge all too well, for sure. And everybody does. All you can do is work your way through it, right?
That's it.
Best. That's cool. All right. So last 2 questions. If you had the opportunity to sort of talk to yourself when you first started your firm, what kind of advice would you have given to yourself? You know, like what would you tell yourself?
That's a tough one. I think I would say relax. I'm very anxious all the time. Relax a little bit more. Trust in the process. Trust that you have the work ethic that is necessary to make it grow. And trust that you will do and you are capable of doing whatever you need to do to make it work. I think that's what I would tell myself. I question myself all the time. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough of the things that I should be doing? Is it not growing because I'm faulty in something? So I think that would be the biggest thing I would tell myself. Yeah. Trust in yourself. Trust in your ability.
Yep, I love it. And then to bring it to present day, what if you could give one piece of advice to all of those law firm owners that are listening out there right now, what would you tell them?
I think what I would say is don't go, for me personally, don't go over your head. For example, I didn't start the business with a lot of debt. So keep your expenses low. I never took out a loan because I didn't want the extra pressure of having to worry about making the monthly bills plus paying back a loan. I just try to keep it as lean as you can. Try to be open-minded to learn new areas of law that come your way as a new law firm. You never know what's going to come and what's going to be the thing that becomes your primary practice area. Like I said, with me, I wasn't expecting family law. So be open-minded to that and be open to learning and reaching out for help from mentors. I think that's the biggest thing I would teach someone. I would say to someone, reach out to mentors, people who have done it, people who are willing to share, and be open-minded to learn and implement what you're being taught.
Awesome. Love it. All right. That's it. Thank you so much for your time and your transparency, and welcome to the Attorney X Alumni Association.
Thank you so much. I loved being here. Thanks.
Thanks. That's a wrap, everybody. Thanks again for listening. I really appreciate your time and attention. And a reminder, if you want to keep the Attorney X series going, there's only one way to do that, to get more of you on the show. to schedule a time to talk with me, talk about your firm anonymously, and get that free t-shirt, go to theunconventionalattorney.com/attorneyx. That's theunconventionalattorney.com/attorneyx. Can't wait to have you on the show. See ya.